Hey guys, for today's art lesson, we are going to be practicing something called a silhouette. So a silhouette is a fancy word basically for when an object is completely a shadow or it looks like it's all black. You often see things that look like they're a silhouette when the sun is going down or the sun is coming up and you can't really see the details on like a tree or a house. They look like they're all a shadow and they're all really dark. So I'm going to show you how to create that using paints, and we'll be using two different size paintbrushes. So watch how I use my paints today and see if you can make a silhouette painting. Okay, so for today's art lesson you will need some paints. Any kind of paints will work, and you will need paper and probably some water, and then I used a wider paintbrush for the background and a skinnier paintbrush for the details. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create our background, and we are going to work on blending. And so the main idea of blending is that you need to make sure your brush is really wet. You need to have lots of paint on your brush and you need to make sure it's really wet. So I'm going to start with red, and I'm getting a lot of paint on my brush and I'm making sure it's nice and watery, and I'm going to go back and forth with my red, nice big brush strokes. Okay, so I'm going back and forth and back and forth. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to switch to the next color, which is orange. And when I do that, I want to make sure I overlap or go on top of my red a little bit too. So I'm going to really make sure I have a lot of paint on there, and I'm going to go over the red a little bit so it's going to start to blend. Okay, so it's going to start to mix together. And I want to do this quickly. If I let it dry, that's when it won't blend anymore. So I want to make sure that I'm going fast and I'm not trying to make it perfect. It's really just about going quick and back and forth and letting the paints mix together. So once I finish my whole paper, all the colors, I do need to let it dry just a little bit for a minute. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and just let this dry. Okay, so now that my painting is dry, I'm going to take my skinny brush, and I'm just using black for this. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start drawing or painting out my details. So everything that you paint is going to be filled in with black. Okay, I'm using a skinny paintbrush so that you can see lots of details, so I can make sure that I have details. Even though I'm not doing things on the inside of my objects like windows or a door or anything like that, I still want to have a skinny paintbrush so that I can do tiny details, and so that my black can get nice and watery and make sure that I can do lots of cool things with it. So I'm just basically drawing a picture, so it's kind of like you're drawing with a pencil, except for you're just using the black paint. And like I said, everything else needs to be filled in with black. You want to make sure you have a lot of water and a lot of black on your brush. The background could also be, maybe if you wanted it to be cool colors. So these are warm colors. Red, orange, and yellow are considered warm colors. If you wanted to do cool colors, you could start with maybe blue, and then you could go to purple and green, or you could do some combination like that with the cool colors. So I just keep adding details with my black paint and my skinny paintbrush. All right, that is my silhouette painting. Okay, so here is what it looked like when I was finished. Just a reminder that you need to make sure your brush is really wet and that you are moving quickly on the background. It's not a slow thing, it's a fast mixing type of painting, so that the colors can have time to blend before they start to dry. So let me know if you give this a try. It's a fun one.